So this hasn't been making too much rounds of the news, if you will, and pretty newsworthy as far as I'm concerned. And this to me falls in line with like when you hear, plane crash today, whatever the nonsense news is. I was telling my buddy at Frank, rule number one when you hear about a plane crash, rule number one, who is on board? If it's a commercial flight and there's just random people, whatever, find out where we need a list of who's on board, because there's got to be someone important. Now, sure, is there really an accident from time to time? Sure. But I'm to believe that when these accidents happen, most of them are made to happen. I remember a flight, I don't know, what year it was, in the early 1990s or late 1980s. Hang on one second. So anyways, this was like late 1980s, early 90s. I remember it was like the CEO of, I think, Shell, gas company, oil company. CEO, in other words, president and vice president were both on this plane, and it crashed. Do you think that's a coincidence? No. And there's numerous other stories. Remember Flight 800? Remember that one? Anyways, when a plane crashes, never jump to conclusions. You go straight to who was on board that plane. Oh, the Osama bin Laden family's plane overshot the runway and crashed. Remember that one? That was fairly recently. And there's numerous other ones. So, point being, always question everything. Absolutely everything. So when I heard this story, this is from mainstream United Kingdom site, express.co.uk. Mainstream site, news site. Vladimir, Russian President Putin's official car involved in horror crash, killing the leader's favorite driver. Vladimir Putin's official car. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna read you something to let you know when old Jason at 4 tells you who was on board, or who was, in this case, who's in the car. Remember the other one? What was the news guy? Not Breitbart. It was somebody else. Car caught on fire and exploded, and the engine was found, 50 feet away from the car. The guy was buried, cremated. Family never even got the option. What do you want to do with the remains? And the remains were so messed up they couldn't even identify the guy for like a few weeks. Can't think of that guy's name. Was it Michael something? Anyways, what did they find? No, it's just a problem with the car. Caught on fire and he died. Yeah. Okay. Do you think for 1 second, when this happens on looks like an interstate highway, multiple lanes on each side of the road? Do you think for 1 second that the needle in a haystack, Putin's car, even though he was not in it, his chauffeur, driving it alone, out of all the cars there, thousands and thousands, his car accidentally gets hit head on oncoming traffic? Okay, so let's read this story, and then I'm going to show you what car hit him and why that might just play a role. I cannot find this specific model. I've been looking before I did this video. What was the specific model car? I know it's a Mercedes that hit him. But what specific model? Because I can find the specific model, I can prove without any doubt whatsoever my theory. And I'll tell you the theory in a minute. Well, obviously the car was steered into his car. You're going to say, well, why would someone drive, even a hitman, why would they drive a car in oncoming traffic? The car was controlled remotely. And I'm going to get into that because it's already been done on some Jeep Cherokees like a year or two ago. And they showed they can tap into it through Wi-Fi, get into the engine control system, and do all kinds of stuff as a test. So, before you say that's absurd, it's already been done. Let me continue. Vladimir Putin's official car has been involved in a head-on collision which has left one man dead, and that one man is his favorite driver. Shocking footage of the lethal crash has been released by Russian media. In the clip, the Russian president's official black BMW can be seen speeding down a Moscow highway before another vehicle smashes into it. The accident was reportedly caused when a Mercedes crossed over from the opposite side of the road without warning. Mr. Putin was not in the car when it struck head-on, but his favorite presidential driver was instantly killed. Medics rushed to the scene after the horrid accident on Kutuzovsky Avenue, but announced the BMW motorist had died on impact. The Mercedes driver, who was traveling alone, has been taken to the hospital in a critical condition. It is reported that the BMW driver, who has not yet been named, had more than 40 years of experience as an official driver. Police have only confirmed that they are investigating the accident without giving any further details. The smashed car is officially registered as belonging to the Federation Council, also known as the Russian Senate or Upper Chamber of Parliament. The cleanup operation took several hours and a huge traffic jam formed when that avenue was closed after the crash. And I realize it says avenue, but this is like a freaking highway. I'm going to show you a little video in a second. Police are investigating the exact cause of the crash. So which one of these? This one. Let's switch pages here real quick. And we're going to restart that one. Maybe not. Hang on.
Now's the time for huge Labor Day.
Oh, here we go.
Get huge Samsung savings. Save up to $1,000 on this Samsung 65-inch
Standby.
4K SUHD TV. And ask about special financing.
Mm-hmm. You gonna play, or you're just gonna sit there? Here we go, watch. Boom. Crosses over, head on. As you can see the speed of those cars. Let's go start that over just for you to take a look again. Right there. Let's play that. I mean, these cars are moving. Okay. So the accident was reportedly caused when Mercedes crossed over from the opposite side of the road without warning. Mr. Putin was not in the car when it struck head-on, but his favorite presidential driver was instantly killed. Medics rushed, blah, blah, blah. Already read that. The smashed car is officially registered. Read that. Police are investigating the exact cause of the crash. The accident comes as Mr. Putin has been in China for the G20 summit, where he has had one-on-one meetings with various world leaders, including Theresa May, U.S. President Barack Obama, and Chinese President Xi Jinping. The Prime Minister warned the Russian president it could not be business as usual with the UK and Kremlin's relationship during the talks. Ms. May also pushed Mr. Putin over the need to secure access for aid convoys and demanded an end to the alleged bombing of civilians in Syria. Only one who's bombing civilians in Syria is the Western powers arming these rebels. That would be your country, my country, etc. Now, you saw that what happened. Car just veers off to the left. If a human being didn't do that, and again, in order to hit that car, you got to time it perfectly to go head on, right? Literally 1 second. 1 second could have made all the difference in the world where they got completely missed. With all that traffic, again. So, I'm going to quickly search. Matter of fact, I'll do it on this one. Google. Jeep Cherokee hacked. I said 2014, I thought, or 2015. July 21st, 2015. Hackers remotely kill a Jeep on the highway with me in it, from Wired.com. Okay? The Jeep hackers are back to prove car hacking. Oh, okay, that was July 2015. Second article, August 1st, 2016. Interesting. Let's go right there, right off the bat. The Jeep hackers are back to prove car hacking can get much worse. Oh, really? Almost exactly a year ago, Chrysler announced a recall for 1.4 million vehicles after a pair of hackers demonstrated to Wired that they could remotely hijack a Jeep's digital systems over the internet. For Chrysler, the fix was embarrassing and costly. But now those two researchers have returned with work that asks Chrysler and the automotive industry to imagine an alternate reality, one where instead of reporting their research to the automaker so it could be fixed, they had kept working on it in secret, the way malicious hackers would have, or U.S. spy agencies, CIA, etc., right? They didn't say that part. In doing so, they've developed a new hack that offers a sobering lesson. It could have been, and still could be, much worse. At the Black Hat Security Conference later this week, automotive cybersecurity researchers Charlie Miller and Chris Velasek will present a new arsenal of attacks against the same Jeep 2014 Jeep Cherokee they hacked in 2015. Last year, they remotely hacked into the car and paralyzed it on the highway, I-64, while I was driving in traffic. They could even disable the car's brakes at low speeds by sending carefully crafted messages on the vehicle's internal network known as a CAN bus, or C-A-N bus. They're now able to pull off even more dangerous, unprecedented tricks like causing unintended acceleration and slamming on the car's brakes, or turning the vehicle's steering wheel at any speed. So you mean to tell me your pal JSnip4 doing a live Google search for something else related to this sees a secondary piece of information. Oh, they did another test a year later. I'm not even going to read you the first one. I already know they did that. Here's a second one. What else do they know? And they can cause the slamming on the car's brakes or turning the vehicle's steering wheel at any speed. You don't say. You don't say that that's possible. Now, where was I? Popular Mechanics. Popular Mechanics. Active February 11th, 2013. Active steering comes to Mercedes-Benz. Of the flurry of advanced safety features debuting on the 2014 Mercedes-Benz E-Class, many of which presage the stuff you'll see in the upcoming S-Class flagship, Distronic Plus with steering assist is likely the most polarizing. Unlike their so-called active lane keeping assistant system, which gently steers the vehicle away from oncoming traffic by braking the inside wheels while vibrating the steering wheel as a warning, Mercedes-Benz steering assist function uses Distronic Plus adaptive cruise control in conjunction with stereoscopic cameras and steer-by-wire electronics to keep the car centered in its lane based on lane marker detection and the presence of vehicles ahead. So this is all computer programming on how that thing will function. It is a fantastic thing that I am a computer programmer myself. I'm a software developer. Not the greatest in the world. Not some awesome, phenomenal expert. I know better than anyone else. Nope. But damn it, I can code some stuff. .NET, my preferred language. Visual Basic .NET to be precise. And I'm thinking, I'm talking to laymen a lot of people as far as this goes, so I have to carefully choose my words and descriptions of what I'm about to talk about. So I'm thinking about this as I go on further. So, you know what? You know what you're about to get? Do you know what you're about to get? I'm about to pause this video and open up Visual Studio and create a couple of functions to prove my point. You don't have to wait around because I'm going to pause this video. And I want to visually show you what I'm talking about. Oh my God. Wait a second. Okay, there we go. All right, so here is my program that took me about, I don't know, 3 minutes to write. This is very basic. This is the form for you to look at. I've named this appropriately. My program is called CIA KillSwitch. And this is how the program looks normally right here. This little box, this little square window. We have our brake status. When I hit the button, brakes are activated. Let go, brakes are off. All of a sudden, something has just happened. Brake status, override. Brakes can be activated, in this case, or set, not even or, but and, set steering, turn the wheel left 15 degrees, set brakes, brakes are off, set gas pedal, full throttle. Nothing you can do. Happens instantly. Think about it, you're just driving the car. You're not, do you drive the car like, no, nobody does. So you're just cruising down the highway and then wheel jerks to the left. You don't even have time to react. Instant head-on collision. This is just a prime example. And when someone says, well, what's the source code? Let us see the source code. Right here, which all of 36 lines of code, technically, is my little demo source code. These are all functions. Okay? Function breaks on, function breaks off. And then I've got my secret hidden function called CIA KillSwitch, which I've also named the program. That doesn't have anything to do with this. And literally, I could take this code and that little message that came up when it said everything was like activated override, that's on a 10-second timer. However, I showed you well, I'm going to show it to you, but I've read it to you, the Cherokee. And I read you a Popular Mechanics story on the newer model Mercedes with all the steering, automated steering, to keep you safe. Unless you're a high-profile target, we need to take you out. I'm thinking, okay, when I was a mechanic in the late 1990s, 1996 to like 2000, 2001, I think I finally stopped doing it. But even then, they had vehicles that had OnStar. Remember the Cadillacs came out OnStar. If you get stuck, you press a button. Hello, so-and-so from OnStar. How can I help you? How the hell that? I don't even have cell phone service in here. What the? Oh, it's satellite-based. Your car gets stolen, they can track it. They can disable it. They can lock the doors all through OnStar. So the thieves back in those days got smart, figured out where the OnStar antenna is, and cut the antenna. So no more GPS signal when they stole the car. Sorry about their luck. Your OnStar has failed. However, if the same thing is, satellite technology is being used in these newer cars, there's the way in. In the club, has back doors and has ways of getting into these computers to force it to do things. Does that mean that they've installed, hidden like functions like this? Not necessarily. If you know how, you're the government, unlimited funding. Guys, let's buy a couple of brand new whatever vehicles. What are all of our enemies, other heads of state? What was the most common? Mercedes and BMW. All right, get a bunch of Mercedes and BMW, and we're going to hack into these things and see what we can do. They may be able to just send signals to the computer, tricking it, thinking that, you need to turn to the right there's a line, you know, the car's trying to steer itself or do something, whatever. You hack in there, overload something, or send the wrong signal, boom, and it goes to the left, right? So you don't necessarily need these functions. However, it'd be real easy if they already had them there. You can just call the function. You don't have to do anything crazy. Just call the function, and the function runs as soon as you call it. So is it possible that these things are Wi-Fi enabled like the Cherokee and not satellite? Yes, it is. Which would mean what? Your little CIA stooges would be traveling behind the car with a little antenna on their laptop to have a signal to that person's car. And they're watching. They know exactly where Putin's car or the driver is. Okay, get ready. We're like right behind the car, so we can just sit here and get ready now. Hit it. Boom. The car cuts off to the left. Looks like a car accident. That's the club's favorite way. The favorite way to take people out. Oh, plane crash. And I remember hearing Jesse Ventura not that long ago. He was on Alex Jones. Former governor Jesse Ventura. Yes, Jesse the Body, whatever he used to call himself back in the wrestling days. Great guy. And he says, I will not ever fly. I do not fly. I'm always driving. I do not fly. By chance, if Jesse, you happen to hear this video, what kind of car are you driving? Does it have automated steering and drive-by-wire controls? I noticed that all the new Crown Victorias had the fly-by-wire, I think after 2008 or 9, maybe even 2007, 8 or 9, had what they call fly-by-wire. You press the gas pedal, and there's not an actual cable anymore going to the throttle like normal cars have always had all these years. You press the pedal, it's attached to a cable. The cable pulls the throttle, the butterfly on the throttle body or whatever. You let go of the gas pedal and it snaps back because it's spring loaded. But now the new fly-by or drive-by-wire, whatever the hell they're calling it, it's a sensor in the gas pedal that sends a signal to a sensor on your engine, on that same butterfly, that throttle body, throttle plate, whatever. And when you give the signal, oh, okay, it opens up the throttle by itself through a little motor. So again, if you can hack into that and say, boop, wide open throttle, go. You can press the brakes and hit the gas and do anything you want. And some of these newer cars, you don't even need a key anymore. You just, as long as the RFID chip is in the key and it's somewhere near the car, it'll start. You press a button, car starts, you're good to go. How are you going to shut the car off? How are you going to shut it off? They've just overrode it. Can't shut the car off. Brakes don't work. Steering to the left. Full speed ahead. All in the span of a second or two. So fast you won't even have time to even understand what happened. If you survive, they're going to ask you, sir or ma'am, what happened? You were on the you hit head on. And by the way, you happen to hit President Putin's car. Of all cars on this interstate, interestingly enough. But what happened? I have no idea. I was just cruising on the interstate. I wasn't tired. I wasn't texting. I wasn't on my phone. Just had my hands on the wheel. Doing what I do every single day, going on the same way I always go. And out of nowhere, the car jerks to the left, and I don't remember anything after that. I just remember, seeing it, and then I wake up and I'm in the hospital or whatever, and that's it. I mean, seriously, that's what you're going to say. If by chance you recall, well, I had my hands on the wheel, and I do remember the wheel jerking to the left. Then what does that mean? Well, it means the wheel jerked to the left for some reason. Why did the wheel jerk to the left? You're gonna, sue the Mercedes-Benz, faulty car. And if you do, sorry about Mercedes luck. The government's now using you for their dirty work, and you're going to get sued and pay the tab. Anyways, gots to run. Hope you enjoyed the video. Take care.